Welcome to Building Bridges, New Jersey's SEPAG Voices. In this video series, we'll be highlighting special education parent advisory groups, SEPAGs, throughout New Jersey. Join us as we interview dedicated parent leaders from various school districts, exploring their experiences, motivations for involvement, and the impact they strive to create. Together, we'll uncover the vital role of parents in shaping educational experiences for students with disabilities. Our mission is to empower families and improve educational outcomes for students with disabilities. We provide essential programs and services to support special education parent advisory groups, SEPAGs, within communities and school districts. Our initiatives include workshops and trainings to inform parents as active participants in their child's education, partnering with educators to enhance educational programs in inclusion, assisting communities in starting or strengthening parent advisory groups and support networks. Today we are interviewing Clara, Jennifer, Alyssa, and Nikki from Rutherford SEPAG.
We got started because honestly we saw a need. It was Jen and I, we sat down, I remember, and we started talking about different things. And we noticed that there was no representation of the in town. We basically felt that we needed to reinstate it as much as possible, or as fast as possible. And then as Jen and I were talking, we were like, this could be done, why not? Let's do it. And then we looked at each other and we're like, we're really doing this. This is really happening. And then we just started the whole process, and then we started talking to everyone, to Nikki and Alyssa, and it just kind of came about very beautifully, so.
A friend of mine is on a CPAG in a different district, and she said, you have to meet Beth. She's our chair of our CPAG, and she's great, she knows everything. And when she connected me, she said, I actually found out that she works for this organization called SPAN, which is the parent organization for the state, and she actually does this for a living, not just as a parent volunteer. So we met with her, and she gave us an overview of what to expect, and then also offered a workshop for the district, where, is that when we met you too? Did you come to the workshop? So we invited parents, anybody who's interested to come, so they could learn about what a CPAG is, and she could give us a real thorough how-to, a step-by-step process of setting up and sort of incorporating and what to expect and how to collaborate with the district.
During COVID, a lot of the parents phased out, and there, it was COVID. Everything was up in the air, and there was no one that we could reach out to and really talk to and discuss things, unfortunately. But along the way, thanks to SPAN, we've been able to learn about how to navigate the process of setting it up.
I mean, it's definitely a balance, between, I think all of us have, full-time jobs. We all have, at least for myself, I have 2 young kids, and I think at the end of the day, you figure out a way that works. You figure out, it's really important the people that you work with too that help drive you. For myself, I think what really drives me is what kind of future do I want to set for my child, specifically, in this school district, moving forward, and what resources do I wish, would have been available to me or could be available for, newer parents like myself going through a similar situation. And so I think that impact of making that little bit of difference just to help somebody else out in what's such an overwhelming process, just one little hand to say, like, here, one less thing you have to do makes a big impact.
I think we find the time because it's important to us. So as much as we have full-time jobs, we have children at home, children with special education needs, that also adds a layer of like time commitment, just levels of having to be there for them. We split up a lot of the responsibilities with our strengths, even from like our jobs. I'm an advertiser, so of course I'm doing communications and helping with like creating a logo and making sure people are getting the right message when we want to send it out. And Alyssa's an expert at putting events together and making sure that no detail is like, missed. And Clara and Jen are like the heart, so like they just make sure that they're keeping us informed of like what that communication is, between our CPAG and SPAN, or our CPAG and even the school district. So it really helps that like we all have our role and that we can split it up and make it like manageable. And again, like that, even that small part that we each do individually, we're doing it because out of love for not only our children and their needs, but also because we know that if our children are taken care of, that means all the kids in Rutherford are taken care of. Like, so we make the time, we put the time in.
It's a journey and it's an adventure that you're going on. And for myself, it's been really nice not to have to do that adventure alone. And, you know, everyone here has older kids than mine, so to be able to speak to somebody who's been there, who truly understands where you're coming from, has just been, you know, you can't put any value to that because it's just been, I'm so grateful for it.
You know, I know that when we first started talking, it felt like finally there's somebody who gets it, right, who understands this. And I've worked in education, I've worked in schools for 20 years. I felt like I had a pretty good grasp on what the IEP process was, what's a 504. And when I started going through the process for my son, it was so isolating and overwhelming. And I kept thinking to myself, here I am with resources, experience, knowledge, and I'm overwhelmed. I don't think I can do this. So I just felt thinking, how can we create resources for people who don't have any understanding of what it is? It's such an opaque process. And just starting to talk with Clara and Nikki and Alyssa, like that made all the difference to know, oh, you don't have to be alone. You can meet people who have had similar, not exact experiences, but something analogous to what you're going through. And now you can work together to really shift the narrative and really try to help demystify these processes. So to me, that's the main reason, right? And that keeps us going. We want to be able to share what we've learned and also help other folks and keep learning ourselves because we have a lot to learn too.
We're also bridging the relationship between the district and the parents. We're trying to really be able to make sure that we're working as a team versus adversarial. And I think that CPAGs usually provide that space. Where we're the liaison between those two worlds. Not only as parents, we understand the parent side, but then also as a district, kind of like we understand where that's coming from too. So we're trying to bridge that and make sure that we're working together with the district and all the resources, and for the parents to understand that and know that those resources are there for them, right? And that they can utilize it and really truly be empowered and have a voice within the process of either an IP, 504, whatever it may be. So I think that having all these layers put together is that's where the passion comes in. It's really for the parents and really making sure that they are being serviced as much as possible.
Parents are excited. I think they had nothing before, so now they have something. So even if it's at least, we haven't had many events, but I think just even starting out, like the turnout was more than we could have imagined. People are communicating that they love it, they want more, you know, they want more workshops, they want more like parent meetings to get together and just have someone listen, that's just like the simplest, like easiest way to show care and love is just to listen. Like, we're not even guaranteeing that we can help solve a problem, but I think that we see the passion coming from the parents. That also keeps us going. Like, I think that says it like in and of itself. Like they're asking for more time, more events, more of us.
We were very intentional at the very beginning of the school year. We went to every single back to school night. We went to our town Rutherford Day, which is our sort of town celebration. We really got the word out that we were starting this group, or we're restarting this group, and that we wanted to reach out to parents. And I think all of that like work at the beginning paid off, so that when we had our first meeting, we had a great turnout. It was a really rainy, cold night, and we thought nobody was going to come, and it was packed, and people were emotional. They felt, like you said, heard, and I think they felt grateful to have a space to share their experiences, also to celebrate things that were working really well. We also want to highlight what's working, what's great. We want to go back to the district and tell them the good things, and the things that we're hearing are coming up multiple times, right? So what's happening continuously? How can we make small shifts that might make the experience better for all of our students across the board? So I would say it was a very successful first meeting, and like you said, parents are asking for more.
Our meeting was, I remember it was in my backyard, and the first meeting. I remember being like, okay, we're gonna get, charcuterie. I'm saying it incorrectly, but I did, like we just made it really fun. And we were there really because you could feel the passion. Like you could feel like we wanted something new and change. So it was very laid back, but it was impactful because I remember in that meeting we had so many notes and we're like, we're gonna do this and this and this, and everything we've actually set out for was done. Like literally we were like, we did not skip a beat, we did not wait for any, like it was just like, nope, we just worked very nicely together.
Being a parent with a kid that has special needs, how do you appropriately be an advocate for them? And I think some of those lessons that we're learning, in speaking with other parents and understanding, the resources of the district and things like that, that's things you're learning how to be a better advocate for your child, but then also life lessons you're learning for yourself. How do you start being a better advocate for yourself?
I think for me, it has been the ability to be able to really truly be authentic and say exactly how I feel, whether that is a bad thing. And it just allows us to truly be authentic and not have to hide, not have to feel like, I'm here by myself. The beautiful thing about that is that once I say all the things that I have to say, I feel so much relief. And it just feels like I'm being heard. I no longer need to hide. And I think that that's powerful.
Especially when you think that you're different or that something's wrong, like, no, okay. It makes you feel like seen and like I can be, authentic too. So I think that's really important.
The SPAN SEPAG support clinics have been such a great resource, not only from the staff, of course the staff being able to answer questions, respond to things, also inform us of what's coming up that we should be paying attention to, but also to be connected to a larger community of people who are doing the same work, and to be able to ask them questions or to learn from them, to be introduced to people we wouldn't have met. That to me is an invaluable resource, and as Clara mentioned earlier, and all of us have said, just knowing that you're part of a larger community is really impactful and helps us have an anchor to feel grounded in what we're doing and feel like we can work towards something, right? We can see what could be, because we're really still at the early stages, so we're still kind of visioning what we want this to be and how we want to approach our progress and what we do moving forward. So it's great to have that anchor of an organization that's hosting and a convener so that we can meet with all these other organizations and leaders and learn and share.
I absolutely love them. I could ask questions. There's so many things and nuances that we've never dealt with that we don't know how to navigate. Even Beth has been an amazing resource because every single time I'm not, like when we're not able to get into the support clinics, immediately we were like, Beth, we go to Beth, and we ask her questions and she's always like, oh, here's what I would suggest, or here are the resources available. The SPAN website, we do use that a lot. We actually link it to our website because the information there is phenomenal. I don't think that it would have been such a smooth transition from having no SEPAG for a little bit to reinstate it without SPAN's help and Beth's help. I'll be honest with you. Immediately, we were embraced. It wasn't like, oh, well, I'll get back to you or what. No, it was immediately like, here's the resources, here's the, you have questions, no worries. If we have a question, where do we go to? If there's resources that we need, where do we go to? And usually it's either SPAN, Beth.
It is a lot of work, but it's worth it when you see the community come together and you see that there can be real change and real support.
It's possible. Like we didn't know what we were doing, and now look at us, we're professional SEPAGers.
Have fun. Make this an enjoyable experience. Not only creating a community, but getting resources, not being afraid. Like there's so many levels to it, but make it fun. Make it fun for sure.